Greetings, everyone. Ken McCall of Stereophile, contributing editor. We are at Capitol Audiofest with the 18-year-old Lucca Chesky, who's sitting in front of me. And I let that sink in for a minute. He's 18 years old. What the F? Hi, Lucca.
How's it going?
Good. We're this series, we're debuting new products. So if you would, tell me what it is, what it costs, and what makes it special.
Yeah. Well, this is my brand new speaker in the Chesky Audio LC line, the brand new LC2. So this speaker is really designed to take the first speaker I came out with last year, the LC1, and bring it up to the next level as the next model in our line. So it uses the same kind of 3D printed monocoque dual wall high mass cabinet as the LC1, but there's a lot of really new features that.
What was that? What cabinet?
Monocoque.
What's that?
So it means that the structure is one solid piece. So on the speaker, similarly to the LC1, the 3D printed cabinet it's all one solid piece. We don't have panels. We don't have anything screwed in place. So it's extremely inert and very, very rigid. But this year, unlike the LC1, we now have a new baffle. So this is a 5/8 inch thick aircraft grade 6061 aluminum baffle that is milled down from a billet. And everything is milled down, including our tessellation diffraction. And then that gets bolted on, sandwiched between a piece of sorbothane. And that's going to help really reduce the vibrations, that nice little piece of sorbothane. But now we have this new baffle, and there's a lot of really nice advantages to it because not only do we now have the material properties of aluminum, having something extremely stiff on the front of our speaker, which is going to help tighten up that bass. We can also really tension the drivers all the way down, which you can get them very tight in plastic, but only so much before you can strip something. With aluminum, it's much, much harder to do that. So we have that, and it also creates at least in my opinion, a much sleeker and more elegant look.
And what's the cabinet made out of?
So the cabinet is it's printed out of PETG plastic and then infilled with our proprietary composite to give it its low mass and high mass and low resonance.
What does it weigh, the cabinet speaker?
This whole speaker is around 45 pounds. So
Which is surprising. It doesn't look like it would be that heavy.
It doesn't, but it weighs a ton.
Wow.
It's a big step up from our LC1. It is much larger than our LC1. But the LC1 weighs 18 pounds. Now we're up to 45. So it is an extremely dense cabinet. The walls are also very, very thick. So
how thick are they?
It depends on where you are in the cabinet.
Oh, so
it
right.
changes. It changes throughout the cabinet, but we go from 2.5 to 3 inches.
And what does that give you? Some people like resonant cabinets. You want a dead cabinet.
I want a dead cabinet. I want something that is not going to interfere with the drivers that I've chosen and is going to give us minimal interference as well between the driver and less coloration. When you have a cabinet that is really going to resonate, you can use that to your advantage in certain instances. But in our case, we really want to show off our new drivers that we're using on this speaker, which going into our next portion, the drivers are completely new. So,
and you make your own drivers, your company?
We have a proprietary manufacturer for the drivers, but we customize our mid-bass driver in-house. So, speaking of mid-bass, this is our 7-inch mid-bass driver. It uses a tri-laminate cone and a polypropylene dust cap, along with a
tri-laminate. So it's a laminated paper.
So it's a paper composite made up of 3 different materials, of a mixture of glass fibers, Kevlar, and paper. So all of those come together and they make our cone. And then we have a polypropylene dust cap on that. And now we also have a fully cast basket, unlike the LC1, which is not cast. Moving up, we have our new dual chamber aperiodic tweeter. It's a dome tweeter, and it also uses a silk membrane. It's around 1 1/8 size. And this new tweeter has really given us some crystal clear resolution. So it is a big step up from the drivers of the LC1, and I'm very happy with how everything turned out. It was a lot of work to get everything finalized and seeing what tweaks we needed, but I think it came out well.
And what do you mean by dual chamber for the tweeter?
So there's 2 chambers on the behind the tweeter as well, with a much better magnet in comparison to the LC1.
And is it a large magnet on top of that mid-range?
For the mid-bass?
Mid-bass, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a very large magnet.
What kind of magnet is it?
Ceramic.
Ceramic. Are those passive drivers on either side of the speakers?
So Going over back to kind of the idea of the Chesky audio speakers, of course, we have our signature dual sub-bass radiators. So we have two passive radiators on each side in a push-push configuration. So they're 8 inches. It's an aluminum cone, and it's the same passives as the LC1.
What's the cone made out of?
So the cone on the passives are aluminum. So we have aluminum, and then we have our tri-laminate.
What are the challenges of putting together two passive drivers with the ones on the front in the same box?
Well, space is definitely a challenge, especially because we have very thick walls. You have to be very space conscious in terms of where you're going to place your actual drivers, how wide to make your cabinet. And that's something that I played around a lot with the LC1 and practicing and really refining my design process. So it was a lot easier to kind of get it down with the LC2. Granted, it's also much bigger. The LC1 is really it was difficult spacing everything out because there's almost no air volume in that box because we have the two passives, we have our driver, we have a crossover, and the internal geometries in the speaker. So, but this one was easier to do, but we've had really great success, and those passives have not only given us really nice bass, but also a lot of control on our low end, which for a speaker of this size, let alone the price, is something that is sometimes really hard to find.
What's the price for a pair?
$19.95 a pair.
And it's just deeper than the LC1, isn't it? Or is it more?
It's taller, it's deeper,
Wow.
It's heavier, it's wider as well.
Is that a bigger mid-bass driver than the LC1?
Yes, the LC1 uses a 6.5 polypropylene cone. This is a 7-inch driver.
Oh.
So this is taller, wider, and deeper. The LC1 measures around 8 inches by 10 by 10. This is around 8.5 by 12.5 by 13.5.
Now, how did you come upon the shape and the
tessellation here on the front? Yes, that's a great question. So a lot of it, I played around with 3D simulations, and we really tried to optimize what the best shape and the extrusion out the front. I call it tessellation because all of the shapes are individually unique along with all of the angles on them. And essentially what that's going to try to do is help break up the reflections off the face of the baffle, also making the speaker stand out.
It looks like the right one is slightly higher than the left one. Is that just my eyes?
That's just your eyes.
Okay.
They're both...
That's why my photos lean to the left. There's obviously something going wrong up here. I don't know what it is.
Sometimes these little lights on the floor can make the speaker look a little...
but those match, those left.
Those perfectly match, yeah. So they're symmetrical on both sides, but every single facet here is individually unique from the other.
Who's your... once you've got them to where you like them, who's your listening crew that helps you come up with or gives you opinions on them?
The majority of it I really voice the majority of my speaker, and then I'll kind of reference it over with I'll ask my dad, David Chesky, who's had a lot of recordings done in his time. So
I've heard of him.
He's heard a thing or two, and then we'll have some friends over. Some audiophiles that are just interested, and I like to have I'll go through a demo. We'll go through our measurements, and we will kind of look over it and see, okay, what do you guys like? What do you dislike? What would you like to hear more of? I feel really happy with kind of where we left off with the LC2s.
What's the sensitivity on these?
These are 86 dB.
So they need a little power. Can they? And
they do need a little power. Yeah, we're running them right now today with the Shit Wotan. That's a really, really powerful amplifier. You don't need that much power to run these, but it definitely helps. And they have a 4 ohm impedance. They dip to around 3.1, around 400 hertz.
They need some juice.
Yeah, and then that impedance will rise back up. But the nominal load is 4 ohms.
Finally, tell me, I'm curious, you're a young man, what music do you use to voice or just test your speakers?
I use a lot of the Chesky recordings.
Oh, come on, you do not.
I do, yeah. And that's mainly because I grew up being at those sessions. I know what those sessions sound like live. And a lot of the newer recordings, I'm there helping at the sessions. I'm helping with the mixing process. So I really know the reference. So when I can design my speakers, so when I close my eyes, it sounds like I'm there. I had a funny story. Recently, my sister, Paloma, who's a singer, sold out Birdland last week. And she was playing songs from her new album, which I use to demo the LC1s and the LC2s all the time. And it was funny because when I closed my eyes, it sounded so similar to not only the recording, but also, granted, we're in a different room, but also how these speakers are projecting that sound. So I would say that's been the biggest part. Also, being a musician, I grew up in a very musical household, but I also play piano, drums, and guitar.
Oh.
So really having an ear for what live music sounds like has been crucial. I think if you can't perfectly know what a real piano, a real guitar, what a bass drum is supposed to feel and sound like, it can be really difficult to reproduce that. So I would say that's kind of the overall voicing process. But yeah, really going back to those, especially the older Chesky recordings, I remember very well.
Huh.
So
You must have been 2 or 3 or something.
yeah, kind of throughout my whole life, we were always going to sessions, and especially I was helping out more and more as I got older. But especially with the new Audiophile Society stuff, I helped out set up a lot of that recording equipment and the gear, and so it has helped, realize, okay, this doesn't sound like how it did that day, or this vocal has too much color in it. So, yeah, that's kind of been that
What are you
process.
studying at Carnegie Mellon?
Right now, I'm studying design and production in the process of transferring to ECE, so electrical and computer engineering.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.